blog and to another live stream. I know it's been a while since the last one. It's been a while since we have had anything to do with football. It's coming up to a month now since we last saw Tottenham Hotspur play. And look, with the way the season was going, I suppose we can look at that as a bit of a good thing with some injured players coming back into the fray when the season, if the season hopefully does resume. Just while we're waiting for a few more people to get in here for this quiz, just going to look at an announcement that Tottenham made earlier today. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this. They've announced that Heung-min's son has gone on his mandatory military service in South Korea. So they released a statement on the website this morning. The club can confirm that Heung-min's son will commence his mandatory military service in South Korea this month. The forward arrived back in his home country at the end of March, where he is currently in quarantine. So we did actually get some news a week or two ago that he had actually returned to the UK, but they've said he's still actually in quarantine in South Korea. Our medical staff are in regular contact as he concludes his recovery after fracturing his arm in our 3-2 win against Aston Villa on the 16th of February, and he continues to train while he is in South Korea. Sonny had surgery on his arm in South Korea before returning to the UK. So there it is actually at the end of February to continue his rehabilitation. So he's actually returned there prior to the initial announcement of the professional game in England being suspended as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Premier League has announced that the 2019-20 season will only return when it is safe and appropriate to do so, and is under constant review. Son will return to London following the conclusion of his military service in May. So I suppose a clever decision there from Son to go and get this few weeks service done while the Premier League season is on hold. And looking at the way things are going right now, it doesn't look like the season will be back by May. So I think we'll have no problem with that, and we're going to get another few injured players back into the first team when the season does return. Harry Kane, Stephen Bergwijn, of course, another few who have missed a couple of weeks with injury. And as well, a few of you, Ratty Sarah, Charlie THFC and Luvo, all welcome to the stream as well. Another few minutes and we'll get this underway. So what I'm going to do is I have 8 rounds written out. There's going to be 6 questions per round. And just going to be kind of a different theme for every round in this one. So the first one is the 2018-19 season, of course, our last full season. Then we've got one kind of a more, I've gone back in time, a more historical one. We've got, I've called it the pre-Premier League round. We've some fun ones as well, called one is Follow the Transfer. So I'll call out, the certain transfers that a player made throughout his career, and we can then try and figure out which player it is. Charlie THFC is saying, do you reckon the season will go null and void? Personally, I can't see it happening. I think they do have to finish the season whenever it is, no matter what it takes, because of the money and stuff that is involved in the Premier League. I think they do have to complete it. There's different things coming out in the last few days. The Premier League have warned the PFA that if the season is actually declared null and void, it could cost clubs up to £768 million. Burnley have come out and said that if they don't get the TV money that they need for the rest of the season, they could actually end up going bust as a result of losing out on that money. And well, it's safe to say if the season did go null and void, you could award the Premier League title to Liverpool. There's a lot more in the table that does have to be decided. We have, of course, the Champions League spots: Chelsea, Leicester, Man United, Wolves, Sheffield United, Tottenham in there, looking to make it into those Champions League spots. Looking down the other end of the table, Norwich more than likely going down with the way the table is at the moment, but Aston Villa and Bournemouth just inside that relegation zone. They can't be relegated because they do have a realistic chance of staying up this season. And as Ratty Star says, the season will get finished at some point. It has to be done. It's not the same as I don't think below the National League in England has been declared null and void. The Belgian League at the moment has already been it's been advised that that's declared null and void. Club Brugge will be given the title over there. I think the Premier League is a completely different ballgame. There's a lot more money involved. You're looking at clubs like Burnley potentially going bust. I think you do have to end the season, or you do have to finish the season and play all the games. A lot of different ideas kind of thrown around for how that will happen. As some people call for a World Cup style format where all the teams go to a certain area, they quarantine together and then play those games behind closed doors. And I think it probably is the best option to get it done behind closed doors, because the longer you wait trying to get fans back into the stadiums, the more it's going to kind of affect future seasons and all of that stuff. So I think the quicker we can get it done, the better. And I think a June or July kind of World Cup style thing where they all go to one area and do it like that, I think is the best option for that at the moment. But then you also have to bring into the question of the FA Cup and the Champions League. Of course, the Carabao Cup already completed. With the FA Cup, it's such a prestigious tournament, one of the oldest in the world and all that, and every team that's in it wants to win it. So for the teams that have gotten this far, of course, Tottenham unfortunately not one of them. For them, you do kind of need to finish the tournament in the Champions League. It speaks for itself. It's the biggest club tournament in the world, and again, Tottenham not one of the teams that are in it, but it just needs to be done for the clubs that are there. It's too big of a thing. It's too much money involved, too much time and dedication put into it so far. To just decide to end it, and with the Euros being pushed back, I think there is time for this to be done, and ideally, we just get it done as soon as possible. Peter Moyes saying, Matt, will you be taking part in my quiz? I will, of course. Raddy Sarr saying, I mean, no one wants Liverpool to win the league, but it's going to happen inevitably. I think they're only 2 wins away from it at the moment. It will happen. People calling for, if the league isn't finished, to just give them a recognition award. There's one joke going around giving them a VAR award. I forget what that stood for, but they are going to get something no matter what happens. They're going to win the league, so we might as well play it and sort out everything else. Christopher Wincott saying, hey Matt, how are you with the lockdown? I think the same as everyone else, just getting bored, getting a bit fed up. But hopefully this hour and a half can just give us something to do, a bit of a distraction from it all. So we might as well get started with this quiz. So the first round is going to be, as I said, from last season, the 2018-19 season. Starting off, basically what I'm going to do is when I'm going to ask these questions, and it's going to come through on my live chat here. Basically the first person who gets the answer through, we'll put down as the person who's got that right, and we're going to have a separate winner for each round, and then an overall winner at the end. Unfortunately, there's no prizes or anything, but I'll be posting it on my community feed after. People who won every individual round and the quiz all together. Maybe not an hour, I'll be honest. So starting with a very easy question from last season. Who was our top scorer last season? It's the same player in the league and in all competitions. So who was our top scorer last season? And again, it's the first answer that comes through on my feed. It might be a bit different in the live chat you're looking at there, but it's whatever first answer comes through on mine, we'll take that down. So who was our top scorer from last season? There's a bit more of a delay than I was hoping for on this one, but there's a bit of a delay in the live chat coming through. Of course, an easy one to get started. Who was our top scorer last season? First answer coming through, Son isn't right. I honestly didn't think there'd be anyone getting that wrong. There we have Sutherlock coming through with Harry Kane. So that is the right answer there. Harry Kane scored 17 goals in the league last season and 24 in all competitions. Kind of a disappointing season for him when you think about it in general, because as he said, quite a bit over the last few seasons, a good few injuries, and he was looking to become, I think, the first player to actually score 20 plus league goals in 4 consecutive seasons in the Premier League. He joined a really elite club the season before with 3. I think it was Thierry Henry, and I forget there were a couple of players with Premier League's greatest in that list there. Harry Kane unfortunately didn't make it into the 4 for that one. Now the second question is, what was our biggest win of the season last year? Bit of a hint, it didn't come in the Premier League. But what was our biggest win in the season last season? Gareth, welcome to the stream as well. Peter Moyes saying it's rigged. It's not, but think what you like. So what was our biggest win of the season last year? It didn't come in the Premier League. Obviously not our best season in the Premier League last year. We did finish 4th, but had quite a few disappointing results, especially towards the end of the last season. What was our biggest win of the league last season? Our biggest win of the season, not in the league last year. We got the scoreline coming in there, but can we have the team as well? I think that's important. Peter Moyes coming in with 7-0. Christopher Wincott 7-0 as well. Marcel Brown 7-0. And he said Tranmere there as well. So what we'll do is we'll just give it to all of you there because we got the scoreline as well. But Marcel coming in with the team. I think that's probably the most important one there. But we'll give it to all 3 of you for that one. Marcel Brown 7-0 against Tranmere in the FA Cup. That was on the 4th of January, I think it was, away to them. Again, a victory you'd expect us to have. Ended up doing quite well in the FA Cup, but just not as well as we wanted. Of course, didn't win it. Now, question 3, a bit of an easy one that is still a point of frustration for a lot of Tottenham fans. How much did the club spend in the summer of 2018? So this is before last season. How much did the club spend in the summer of 2018? A very, very memorable and historic transfer window, to say the least, with that one. Of course, we'll go through that a bit more when the answer comes through here. How much did the club spend in the summer of 2018? And I was really hoping for less of a delay with this live chat coming through here, but it is what it is. We just deal with it as it comes along. We see actually Raddy started here saying he's still working during the lockdown, which I'm as well. I'm working from home, which is a bit of a bummer, but it gives you something to do. And Sutherlock coming through there with the right answer. We didn't spend anything in that transfer window. Historically, we were the first team since the transfer window actually came into existence back in 2003. Tottenham becoming the first team to not spend any money throughout the entire transfer window, which, look, it cost, a lot of people seem to think it did cost Pochettino his job. That kind of, the 18 months there, we didn't spend in January either side either. That 18 months, a lot of people kind of saying it was that not really freshening up the squad is what caused the decline in form, and what could have ultimately cost Pochettino his job. Now, question 4 of this round: how many Premier League games did we draw last season? So that's throughout the entire Premier League season. How many games did we draw? And look, if you can get the few teams in there as well, a bit of a bonus for that one. So how many Premier League games did we draw last season? Your answers here for how much did we spend? €2 coming through. I don't think that's right, Gareth. Not even that much, unfortunately. So how many Premier League games did we draw last season? And I'll be talking a bit as well later on about the situation with Harry Kane. Some kind of worrying quotes coming out from him in the last week or so. I'm sure a lot of you have seen about his live stream with Jamie Redknapp on Instagram. Some worrying quotes coming out there, and we got another right answer here from Sutherlock. There was 2 Premier League games drawn last season. I may have accidentally said that a second ago. If any of you noticed that, we drew 2 Premier League games last season. The first one coming in there, Arsenal. We drew 1-1 with them at Wembley. A very disappointing game, that one. Actually, Bern Leno in inspired form for Arsenal that day, and making some outstanding saves to keep Arsenal in that one. We drew against Arsenal, and the other game was the last game of the season against Everton. We drew 2-2 at the new stadium, and Christian Eriksen actually in that game, someone who during his time in Tottenham was known as a kind of a dead ball specialist. He scored a free kick in that game against Everton, which was his first free kick in the Premier League since October of 2015. So he went about, I think, 3.5, nearly 4 years without actually scoring a free kick in the Premier League, which is a crazy stat. I think kind of highlights the decline that he had towards the end of his time at Tottenham. Now going on to question 5, who was the only team we beat home and away in the UEFA Champions League last season? Started that very poorly, of course, but ultimately did make it to the final. Only one team we beat home and away. Can you name that team? And if you can give the 2 scorelines as well, again, some bonus points there for that one. Everton, that last one there, 2-2 in the last game of the season, but so it was kind of towards the end of that season we lost to West Ham at home as well. Had some disappointing results on the road, but kind of all our attention then was on the Champions League run. I think after that City, that 4-3 against City at the Etihad, I think that's kind of when our attention just turned to the Champions League. Kind of obviously disappointed with those results in the league, but certainly we were more focused on the other ones. And we have there coming through, first one is Christopher Wincott. Borussia Dortmund, of course we beat them home and away, and he's got the scorelines there as well, 3-0 and 1-0. I was lucky enough myself to be at that home game against Borussia Dortmund. An outstanding performance that day. Jan Vertonghen definitely the best player in that, with a brilliant performance at left back, keeping Jadon Sancho quiet, and getting himself a goal in that one as well. Then going back to Germany, beating them 1-0 there, Harry Kane with the only goal of that game early in the second half. Now question 6, a bit of a tougher one. Who made the most appearances for Tottenham in all competitions last season? So that's of course Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League. I don't think friendlies are included in this one. But who made the most appearances in all competitions for Tottenham last season? A few more people there got in with Dortmund, Sutherlock and Silver Surfer. Sutherlock's the aggregate score 4-0. Gareth saying Ajax, we lost 1-0 at home to them. Which of course I think kind of worked out very well for us because we got that outstanding comeback in Amsterdam. It was all worth it. We have Peter coming in with Danny Rose, which is wrong. Christopher Wincott there. Christian Eriksen is the right answer. Christian Eriksen made 51 appearances for us last season, which I think it's a bit of a strange one really, given that last season was probably his worst in a Tottenham jersey. A lot of fans getting a bit frustrated at Pochettino's adamance to continually pick him for the team. But Christian Eriksen, 51 appearances last season. With Marcel Brown coming in there with Alderweireld, he was second. He was just one behind Christian Eriksen. Oliver Oyle actually the only player that started more games than Christian Eriksen, making 45 starts, or 49 starts, Eriksen with the 45. But yeah, Christian Eriksen is the right answer there. So moving on to round 2. This is a bit of a tougher one, kind of looking back at more historical times at Tottenham, the pre-Premier League round I'm calling it. A few records here for Tottenham as well, kind of highlighting the fact that we do have a much better history than a lot of people care to admit. But the first question this round is, in 1963, Tottenham became the first British team to win a European trophy. Which one did we win? So in 1963, we beat Atletico Madrid 5-1 in the Feyenoord Stadium in Rotterdam. But what trophy did we become the first British team to win? European trophy. Peter asking, how many games have you been to, Matt? I think we'll keep that one quiet for now. We've got another little quiz going on later. So we'll leave that one out for now. So in 1963, Tottenham became the first British team to win a European trophy. Which trophy did we win? Beating Atletico Madrid 5-1 in Rotterdam. Garrett saying the Euro Cup isn't the right answer. Christopher saying Super Cup. And there it is, Sutherlock with the answer. The Cup Winners' Cup is the one that we won. Which I know is a bit different now. The Cup Winners' Cup is kind of the Super Cup, like Christopher was saying, the winners of the Champions League and Europa League. But back then, I think it was the winners of the domestic cups in the leagues that were taking part in the European competition. So Tottenham, of course, winning the FA Cup in 1962, were then taking part in that in 1963, and we beat Atletico Madrid 5-1 in the final there in Rotterdam. And the next question, a bit of a tough one. Which Spurs player scored in the 1966 World Cup final? Now, at the time of the final, he actually wasn't a Spurs player. He was playing at West Ham, but he moved on to Tottenham in 1970 and stayed with us for 5 years. But what's the name of the Tottenham player that scored in the 1966 World Cup final? Of course, actually sadly passed away last December, this player, but will definitely be known for his time at scoring that goal in the World Cup final. He spent 11 years at West Ham, then moved on to Tottenham. Certainly a legend of the game in England. Welcome Charlie THFC to the stream as well. Charlie, we're just starting round 2 here in this quiz, but we're taking the winners round by round, so if you want to join in, might get yourself a few rounds for that one. The current question is, which Spurs player scored in the 1966 World Cup final? Not a Spurs player at the time, but eventually joined the club. And Silver Surfer there with the answer. It is Martin Peters. Scored, I'm not sure which goal he scored in that one, but the more memorable goal scorer in that final is, of course, Jeff Hurst, who scored a hat-trick. But Martin Peters eventually moved on to Tottenham, got the other goal in that one. Now question 3. How many goals did all-time leading goal scorer Jimmy Greaves score for the club? Certainly a club legend there, an England legend as well. 4th highest goal scorer for England, highest goal scorer for Tottenham. How many goals did he score for Spurs? DJ Samuel joining the stream as well, welcome to you. I think Jimmy Greaves' record is one that people were kind of hoping Harry Kane would be pushing on for and hopefully beaten in the future. But with these quotes coming out in the last week or two, it's looking, I suppose, less and less likely that Harry Kane will spend his career at Tottenham, and of course less likely that he will beat that record. It's Marcel Brown saying 263 is not right. There's Sutherlock again with another right answer. 266 goals he scored for Tottenham, our record goal scorer. Quite a bit ahead of the next couple in that list. But Harry Kane, he's closing in on it for now. I don't know how long that will last. Silver Surfer and Luvo saying 44. I think that's actually how many goals he scored for England, but I was asking how many goals he scored for Tottenham. And it was 266. Now for the next question, I'm going to call out a list of years, and I want you to tell me what is the significance of those years. Silver Surfer there and Charlie coming in with the right answer as well, but Sutherlock got that one. So the following years: 1901, 1921, 1961, 1962, 1967, 1981, 1982 and 1991. What do those years mean for Spurs? So we have 1901, 1921, 1961, 1962, 1967, 1981, 1982 and 1991. What is significant about those years for Tottenham Hotspur? Gareth O'Brien saying Harry Kane's coming to Old Trafford. The optimism of those United fans, just can't help but laugh at it. So what do those years mean to Tottenham? I think, look, I do think it is a matter of time before Harry Kane leaves the club. I think when Pochettino left, we kind of realised that it was only a matter of time, because there was such that good bond between Kane and Pochettino and the players and stuff. I think we do have to accept his time at the club will eventually come to an end, but I can't see the club making the same mistake of selling our best players to another English team. Did it with Dimitar Berbatov, we did it with Kyle Walker even more recently, but I don't think that'll happen again. Peter saying finishing above Arsenal is not right, and Silver Surfer there. The FA Cup is the right answer. So those are the years that we actually won the FA Cup. So we have 1901, 1921, 1961, 1962, 67, 81, 82 and 91. We had a few people pointing out there as well. Charlie THFC saying in 1961 we won the double. We won the league and cup double that year, became the first British team to do so. And Christopher Wincott saying in 1901, first non-league team to win the FA Cup, and we remain the only non-league team to ever win the FA Cup. I was beating Sheffield United over a two-legged fixture back in 1901 to win that one as a non-league team. We have the joint third most wins of the FA Cup. Arsenal first with 13, and then United with 12, and we're joint with Chelsea with 8. So third most wins, certainly not a bad record. But yeah, those are the years that we won the FA Cup. Question number 5: who was Tottenham's first ever Player of the Year? This player after this season actually became the club captain, but up until this point was not. But who was Tottenham's first ever Player of the Year? It's back in 1987. So who won our Player of the Year that year? Peter asking, how did you feel when Ake scored against you last season when we beat you 1-0? So Peter's a Bournemouth fan, in case you hadn't noticed. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, I'll be honest, but all I say is we were down to 9 men from the start of the second half, and it still took you 45 minutes to score. So it's no surprise you're in the relegation zone this season. DJ Samuel pointing out as well, 1961 Spurs win the league. Marcel Brown coming in with Son, Sutherlock Bale. This is back in 1987 with this one, our first ever Player of the Year, 1987. So it's not Son, it's not Bale either. A club legend who I think actually comes up a few times in this quiz. But who was Tottenham's first ever Player of the Year. He made 477 appearances for the club from 1982 to 1998, and was our captain from 87 to 98. It's not Berbatov either. It's not Paul Gascoigne. Maybe this one is a bit harder than I thought. I'll give you another couple of seconds if you don't get it. Silver Surfer, I think saying Glenn Hoddle there, was not the answer either. It's not Robbie Keane again, not 1987. A few more seconds. If you don't get it, I might as well just give you the answer. It 477 appearances. It's not Clive Allen. Glenn Hoddle, no. Ozzy Ardiles, not him either. And the answer for that one is Gary Mabbutt, our first ever Player of the Year in 1987. As I said, making nearly 500 appearances for the club. Luvo there actually coming in with the answer, I think just before I said it, Gary Mabbutt. So we'll give him the point for that one. Gary Mabbutt won our first ever Player of the Year in 1987. And now the sixth one for this, another tough one. Who was the only Republic of Ireland player in the Spurs Hall of Fame? Watch it, Peter. Who is the only Republic of Ireland international player in the Tottenham Hotspur Hall of Fame? This player made 297 appearances for Tottenham from 1977 to 1990, scoring 13 times for the club. He was also caretaker manager for a bit. He's the only Republic of Ireland player in our Hall of Fame. I suppose best known lately for his Premier League managerial career. It's not Robbie Keane. I see a few of you saying there. Sutherlock, Gareth, Charlie, Silver Surfer as well. It's not Robbie Keane. I was quite surprised he wasn't in there. Not in our Hall of Fame at all. Colo Torre. It's a bit further back there. As I said, 77 to 90 is when he played for the club. He was caretaker manager in 1997. Bit of a hint, he's known more recently for his managerial roles at Newcastle and Brighton and Hove Albion. But certainly a Tottenham club legend. And there it is, Shea O'Reilly coming in with Chris Hughton. He won 2 FA Cups, a UEFA Cup and a Charity Shield during his time at Tottenham. But definitely a player that was loved by the fans, and we came back to manage as well in 97. He's a club legend, one that's still in the heart of Tottenham fans. Peter and Sutherlock as well getting there with Chris Hughton. So that is the end of that round. We're 2 rounds in, and I think it is Sutherlock who's in the lead with 6 points so far. Getting a lot of those answers right in the first round as well. So moving on to round number 3. This one definitely going to be a bit tougher. So this one is follow the transfer. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out a list of clubs, which is going to be the kind of transfers that a player had throughout his career. So the first one is that a player started out his career at Ipswich. He moved on to Charlton before joining Tottenham. Then he played at Sunderland, Villa and Derby. So these are the teams he played with permanently. I'm not including loan deals in this one. But can you name the player who, that's kind of the order of clubs he played in during his career? Ipswich, Charlton, Tottenham. He played with Tottenham from 2007 to 2009. He moved on to Sunderland, Aston Villa and finished his career at Derby in 2018. So this one may be a bit tougher than I had been hoping, but look, we'll see if the answers can come through. So he's played with Tottenham from 2007 to 2009, and Shea O'Reilly in there straight away with Darren Bent, a player who had kind of mixed times at Tottenham Hotspur, some good moments, some bad moments. But it's Darren Bent starting at Ipswich before going to Charlton, Tottenham, Sunderland, Villa and finishing his career at Derby. Sutherlock and Charlie THFC getting in there as well with Bent, but Shea O'Reilly in first on that one. Now the second one, a bit more recent, a player who is still active, started out at Nottingham Forest before moving to Tottenham, where he stayed from 2005 to 2014. We then sold him to Hull, and he's been playing at Nottingham Forest again since 2018. So that's Nottingham Forest to Tottenham to Hull and back to Forest. Can you name the player who played with those clubs and is still playing with that last club for his career? That's Forest to Tottenham to Hull to Forest. And this player, one who absolutely adored by all Tottenham fans, and I'm sure you know as well when I say it, it's not Tom Huddleston. And Shea O'Reilly again there with Michael Dawson. So Dawson starting out at Forest, played 9 years at Tottenham, where he developed a really good centre-back partnership with a number of players, including Ledley King. But it is Michael Dawson, Forest, Tottenham, Hull, Forest. Christopher as well saying Huddleston, Marcel Brown saying Ryan Mason, Charlie saying Dawson. Michael Dawson is the right answer, so points there to Shea O'Reilly. Now the next one is a midfield player. He started out at Nottingham Forest again in 2001, the same time as Michael Dawson. He then moved on to Newcastle, played with Tottenham from 2005 to 2013, and then had a year at QPR before he retired in 2014. Huddleston coming through again, not right with Pascal Chimbonda. It's not him either. So it's Forest in 2001, moved on to Newcastle in 2002, to Tottenham in 2005, and QPR in 2013. A midfield player who had some good moments at the club. Again, like a lot of players during that period, had good moments, had bad moments. He's definitely known for a particular goal he scored against Arsenal to bring us back into a game at the Emirates Stadium. It's not Reid, it's not a Sambalonga. And Charlie THFC there with the right answer. It is Jermaine Genius. A very good midfield player in his day, had some very good moments. A great goal in that 4-4 draw against Arsenal in 2008. Coming in, curling it in with his left foot at the edge of the box to bring us back to 4-3 in that one. Of course, before Aaron Lennon equalised for that 4-4, that famous draw down at the Emirates Stadium. And again, a few coming in with it there, Silver Surfer, Sutherlock and Luvo as well, saying Jermaine Genius, which is the right answer for that one. Now, moving on to question 4. This one a bit further back, definitely a much more difficult one. This player started out at Tottenham in 1993. He stayed there till 2004 before he moved to Newcastle, and he finished his career at Birmingham from 2009 to 2013. He's another Republic of Ireland international. Of course, not in the Hall of Fame. It's not Chris Hughton. Started at Tottenham in 93 until 04. A defender, played right back as far as I'm aware, before moving to Newcastle and Birmingham. I don't know too much about him personally, and I never watched Tottenham back in those days because I wasn't alive for most of them. But joined Tottenham in 93 and left in 2004. Republic of Ireland right back. Kind of see waiting for that one to come through. I know it's actually looking, these rounds just getting harder and harder. And Shea O'Reilly just about getting in there ahead of Silver Surfer and Sutherlock with the answer. It is Stephen Carr. As I said, Republic of Ireland international, played us for 11 years. I think a player who, from what I've heard about players in that period anyway, certainly underappreciated. But yeah, Stephen Carr, Shea O'Reilly, Silver Surfer, Sutherlock, Charlie, Luvo, Christopher all coming in with the right answer there. Now question 5. Again, going a bit further back again, this player started out his career in Germany with BSG Stahl Brandenburg. He moved from there to Schalke, from Schalke to Borussia Dortmund, then he moved over to Tottenham, for a couple of years before going back to Germany to play with Kaiserslautern. So that's BSG Stahl Brandenburg to Schalke, to Borussia Dortmund, to Tottenham, to Kaiserslautern. Another player who I'm pretty sure is in our Hall of Fame, and would be quite disappointed if he wasn't. German international, of course, you can tell from the teams there. As far as I'm aware, he is in our Hall of Fame. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, he's in our Hall of Fame. Definitely deserved for him. It's not Jurgen Klinsmann. Southerlock and Christopher Wincock coming in with that one. It's not Jurgen Klinsmann. I suppose the other well-known German player who played for us. Shea O'Reilly there again with the right answer. Stefan Freund. Loved by all Tottenham fans for sure. He only spent a short period actually at the club, but certainly loved by every Tottenham fan who saw him in the jersey. In our Hall of Fame. And he's still working with us in some I'm not sure exactly what he does, but he does still work for the club right now. And looking at his Wikipedia here, it doesn't say. It says he's a coach. Played for Tottenham from 1998 to 2003, making 102 appearances for the club. A very very good player, and one that definitely deserves the appreciation he's getting from Tottenham fans. Now the last one, look, I put this one in not expecting anybody to get it, but if you do get it, fair play to you. This player started out with Zamalek, and throughout his career he played with Ghent, Ajax, Marseille, Roma. He joined Tottenham on loan in 2005, and then we signed him permanently in 2006 before selling him to Middlesbrough in 2007. Then he went back to Zamalek and finished his career with Barnsley in 2013. There's absolutely no chance I ever would have gotten this one if I'd been trying to answer these questions. But starting out with Zamalek, moving on to Ghent, Ajax, Marseille, Roma, Tottenham, Middlesbrough. Zamalek again, and ending his career with Barnsley in 2013. He's actually a player who kind of has been in the public eye in the last year or so with his Instagrams. I know a lot of people have been kind of getting on his back about them. I'd be really surprised if anybody gets this one, to be honest. All these diehards. No, they're real fans. Something you wouldn't really know about. Heskey Fazio, no. It's either Roma Fazio, but no, it's a bit further back, about 10 years before we signed Federico Fazio. I think the key for me really with this one would be we sold him to Middlesbrough, and he spent 3 years there from 2007 to 2010. So we signed him on loan from Roma in 2005, signed him permanently in 2006, and then sold him to Middlesbrough in 2007. I would give another minute or so on this one. I'd be quite surprised if anybody actually manages to get this one. It's not Ronaldo. I wish it was Ronaldo. It's not Ronaldo. Palacios, not Palacios either. I think we actually sold him or bought him from, I think it was Wigan. He's a player I loved watching in a Tottenham jersey. And there's actually a few correct answers coming in there. I'm actually quite surprised. It is Mido. Again, a player who really split opinion during his time as a footballer, but also as the person, I suppose, more recently, Egyptian international. Mido, Silver Surfer in there with the right answer. Luvo and Charlie getting that one as well. Mido, a lot of teams during his career, definitely a journeyman. So 2 years at Tottenham. Now moving on to the next round. And this one is kind of testing your knowledge a bit more about the teams that we played in the past, the lower league opposition and the European opposition. So I've taken 6 teams that we've played in recent years in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup and in European football as well. So I'm going to name the team, and all you have to do is tell me the stadium that they play at. As far as I'm aware, we did play in all of these stadiums. We played all of these teams away from home. But I'll name the team and you just have to name their stadium. So the first one is current League 2 side Newport County, who we played in the FA Cup I think 2 years ago. It was actually when we did play them, if I'm thinking of the right game, it was Lucas Moura's debut, and he scored to put us 1-0 up in that one. We eventually drew 0-0 and got him back to Wembley Stadium where we were playing at the time and beat them rather convincingly there to progress to the next round of the FA Cup. So where do Newport County play their home games? I think one or two of these stadiums might have changed names to with sponsors and stuff in recent years, but I think most of these are kind of just set names for the stadiums. Carry Road is not right, and there's Charlie THFC, but Rodney Parade Played there a couple of years ago, as I said, in the FA Cup. Now the next one is actually the team we played after we knocked Newport out of the FA Cup, and that is Rochdale. Another disappointing one there. We ended up drawing away to Rochdale, got them back to Wembley Stadium and beat them rather convincingly there. But Rochdale, at the time we played them, were really struggling in League One, as they still are today, but they managed to stay up the last couple of seasons. So where do Rochdale play their home games? Silver Surfer coming in there with the right answer for the last one as well, Rodney Parade. Charlie getting that one in first. Seeing where do Rochdale play their home games? They're looking it up. And I trust them. Charlie THFC again there with the right answer, Spotland Stadium. This is one I think that has changed in the last couple of years with sponsors and stuff like that, but definitely Spotland is the kind of base name of their stadium. Now third one is Colchester. We played them in the FA Cup again a few years before these two. I think it was back in maybe 2016. We won 3-0 away to them in the FA Cup. Of course, they more recently did beat us there in the, I think it was the Carabao Cup this season, losing to them on penalties, which is a very, very embarrassing afternoon. But we did beat them 3-0 there a couple of years prior to that. So where do Colchester play their home games? Now, this does look like a sponsored one, so I'll just double check the actual current name of the stadium. I'd like to file a complaint. I won't be accepting any complaints for this one. So actually two different answers for this one: a sponsored one and kind of the normal name of the stadium. Charlie saying Community Job Stadium, which is kind of it's close as kind of mashing the two names together. It's not Community Job Stadium. See if there's any more coming through here. I'm saying a relatively new stadium. Didn't realise only opened in 2008. Capacity of 10,000 for the League Two, which is actually quite big for them there. I think it's actually very similar to Bournemouth, who claim to be a Premier League club. The amount of fans they can fit in their stadium. So Colchester Stadium, Community Jobs, quite close. Community Stadium. I suppose I can give it to the two of you there. It is the Colchester Community Stadium, known for sponsorship reasons as the JobServe Community Stadium. So I can give it to both of you there. It's quite close, but it is the Colchester Community Stadium, known as the JobServe Community Stadium for sponsorship reasons. Now the next one is Tranmere Rovers, who of course, as I said, we beat in the FA Cup last year. Beat them 7-0 away from home. Very impressive victory. Now they are only a League Two side. But what stadium do Tranmere play their home games at? A great day for us last season. I remember that game. We were actually 6-0 up, and we brought Harry Kane off the bench for that one. He came on and scored the seventh goal, and Pochettino was getting quite a bit of criticism for bringing on such a good player, such a prolific goal scorer away to a team three divisions below us, even though we were already 6-0 up. But look, you have to win games as best you can. Leave the shed alone. Sutherlock there coming in, I imagine with a bit of autocorrect, but Prenton Park is the right answer. Sutherlock saying Preston Park. Shay Riley getting there as well. But Sutherlock with the right answer in there first. Tranmere play at Prenton Park. Charlie getting there as well. Now the fifth one got into a few European teams. The first one is Olympiacos. Played there earlier this season in the Champions League, of course. I think that Pochettino was still in charge when we played them there. Drew 2-2 in that one. Went 2-0 up, but conceded two very sloppy goals during a really tough stage of our season. Around the same time, and we did lose to Colchester. But where do Olympiacos play their home games? I'm not going to be too strict on spelling in this one because it's a complicated one to say the least. Another few right answer there. Shay Riley, Luvo saying Prenton Park for where Tranmere play. So a lot of thanks to Olympiacos for what they've done this season, knocking Arsenal out of the Europa League down at the Emirates Stadium. But more importantly, we did beat them in the Champions League to get out of our group. But we drew 2-2 away to Olympiacos back in October and November. So what is the name of their stadium? I feel like this is one that people might be looking up, but look, nothing I can do about that. Charlie saying Athens, which is the city where they play, but Sutherlock coming in there at the Kakis Stadium. I'm definitely not pronouncing that right. Sutherlock, Silver Surfer, Luvo all coming in with it there. Welcome, we are Tottenham TV to the stream as well. One of the the best Spurs channels out there. For anyone who does want to go and check them out, I'm sure you already know who they are. But welcome to the stream, guys. Peter, this is rigged. It's not rigged. So Sutherlock coming in with the right answer on that one. And the last one in this round is Apoel Nicosia, a team we played in, I think, the Champions League and the Europa League in recent years. So can you name their stadium? Apoel Nicosia, a Cypriot team. Played them most recently, I think, in 2017. We played away to them in Cyprus. Harry Kane scoring a hat-trick that day. I think it was actually a perfect hat-trick he scored in that one. That was the year we had Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, I think, in our group as well. That year we finished our top four group with 16 points, winning 5 and drawing 1, which is a joint record for Tottenham teams in European or for English teams in European competition. And there it is, Sutherlock, the GSP Stadium, where Apoel Nicosia play their games. So that's it. That's the end of round 4, and there's a few at the top of the leaderboard there. But I will be adding them up now. We'll post on my community feed after all this. The winners of each round, and as well the winner of the quiz altogether. Now the next round it was a bit tough to make because I nearly ended up having the same answer for every single one. This is going to be a Who Said It round, so I'm going to read out a famous quote from Tottenham history, and all you have to do is tell me who said that quote. The first one, a bit of an easy one for sure. It's been my life, Tottenham Hotspur, and I love the club. So can you tell me which famous Tottenham character said, it's been my life, Tottenham Hotspur, and I love the club? A man who definitely the best manager the Tottenham have ever had. Even, of course, above Pochettino and all that, and the likes of Keith Birkinshaw as well. But this man said, it's been my life, Tottenham Hotspur, and I love the clubs. Can you name the man who said that quote? So the lot saying Ledley King, which isn't right. Riley saying King as well, but Charlie THFC there. It's Bill Nicholson, the manager of the club throughout those terrific 1960s. We are Tottenham TV getting in there as well, with Charlie just about winning that one with Bill Nicholson. To be honest, it was quite hard not to have every single quote in this round from Bill Nicholson, because he certainly had a way with words, and he loved the club more than any of us ever will. That one coming from Bill Nicholson. Now the second one, I think from what I know anyway, a quote that is one of the most famous things that's ever been said about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'm sure from the first few words you might be able to get this one as well. It is better to fail aiming high than succeed aiming low. And we of Spurs have set our sights very high, so high in fact that even failure will have in it an echo of glory. The end of that, a phrase that has become very famous at Tottenham, put around the stadium at White Hart Lane and all that. But who said it is better to fail aiming high than succeed aiming low? And we of Spurs have set our heights very high, so high in fact that even failure will have in it an echo of glory. Just tell me who said that quote. It's certainly a quote that I know a lot of people love, and it's one that I love as well. It's kind of my favourite quote about Tottenham. We are Tottenham TV saying Blanchflower. It's not Blanchflower. Wish me luck. I'm going into F1 race. Good luck to you. It's not Daniel Levy either. Charlie saying Blanchflower as well. It's not him. I may have led you a bit astray with this one, what I said a minute ago, but it is better to fail aiming high than to succeed aiming low. And we of Spurs have set our heights very high, so high in fact that even failure will have in it an echo of glory. And there it is, Luvo coming in. It's another one from Bill Nicholson. I had to get two in there. I tried not to, but some of the things he said about the club are just so iconic, so memorable. I just had to get two in there, I suppose. Bill Nicholson with that one as well. And the next one, question 3. My brother was a West Ham fan. He took me to Upton Park, but when I came to my senses at the age of about 12, I became a Tottenham fan. So which former Tottenham player, give me that hint, said, my brother was a West Ham fan. He took me to Upton Park, but when I came to my senses at the age of 12, I became a Tottenham fan. Silver Surfers Bill again, we are Tottenham TV, you got me. I know I kind of had to do it. It's revenge for that Haaland video he posted last week, guys. It was that split second where I got my hopes up on that one. So who said, my brother was a West Ham fan. He took me to Upton Park, but when I came to my senses at the age of about 12, I became a Tottenham fan. So a former Tottenham player, one who also went on to play with West Ham later in his career. Sutherlock, it's not Ledley King. I probably should have had one from him, but little hint, I don't have Ledley King in this round at all. Daniel Levy, the last one, yeah, he's not a Tottenham fan, even B. Charlie, it's not King either. Luvo there with the answer. Teddy Sheringham said, my brother was a West Ham fan. He took me to Upton Park, but when I came to my senses at the age of about 12, I became a Tottenham fan. So Luvo coming in with the right answer there on that one. And Peter, you're running the risk of getting yourself blocked. No mentions of Sol Campbell in this chat, please. So number 4, a much more recent one. Football for me isn't about money. I'm at Tottenham because I love this club. So which Spurs player said, football for me isn't about money. I'm at Tottenham because I love this club. It's not Redknapp. I think that might have been for the last one, actually. It's not either of the Redknapps. Kosa kind of look, obviously true, but with some recent developments might look a bit futile with some of the things that might happen in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. Which Spurs player said, football for me isn't about money. I'm at Tottenham because I love this club. And Sutherlock there, it is Harry Kane saying in the last couple of years he loves Tottenham and he doesn't care about the money. We are Tottenham TV. Charlie THFC getting the right answer there as well. It was Harry Kane who said that. Moving on to quote number 5. This is a bit of a longer one, but again, another one that I absolutely love and has become kind of synonymous with Tottenham. It was written on the walls inside White Hart Lane for a bit as well. The greatest fallacy is that the game is first and last about winning. It is nothing of the kind. The game is about glory. It is about doing things in style and with a flourish, about going out and beating the other lot, not waiting for them to die of boredom. So which former Tottenham player said that one? He's one who's been mentioned a few times with some other ones here. The greatest fallacy is that the game is first and last about winning. It is nothing of the kind. The game is about glory. It is about doing things in style and with a flourish, about going out and beating the other lot, not waiting for them to die of boredom. So that's quote in full written along the walls of White Hart Lane. And of course, the game is about glory. A phrase that again has become synonymous with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And we are Tottenham TV. They're coming in with the right answer. It is Danny Blanchflower. One of the best ever players that played for the club, an absolute legend, won so much with us as well. He's the one who said that one. I was going to remove it every time someone mentions Sol Campbell, just to let you know. None of these are Sol Campbell. Charlie as well there with Blanchflower. That is the right answer. Now, the final quote of this round, the most important thing is the badge. When you play for Tottenham, it is not about the names, it is about the team. So can you tell me which former Tottenham manager it was who said this one? The most important thing is the badge. When you play for Tottenham, it is not about the names, it is about the team. Another great quote is he's all Ireland. It was actually quite difficult to choose just 6 to put into this round. There's some very famous, very memorable quotes for this. Luvo saying Mourinho should read this quote. I think that's the last one. He certainly should. Not waiting for them to die of boredom. That's something that Mourinho seemingly disagrees with the way he's been approaching games lately, but obviously you can cut him a bit of slack. Also the personnel he's had and the injuries he's had in the last couple of months. It's not Blanchflower. It's not Sol Campbell. None of these are Sol Campbell. I will delete every single comment that says Sol Campbell. If you're saying Mabbutt, Mackay, they're not right either. Sol Campbell, Redknapp. And there we go. We are Tottenham TV getting it again. Mauricio Pochettino. I had to throw one from him in this round. There's quite a few to choose from. I was going to go with that one from his first interview where he said he'll do everything he can to make us proud of the club again, which he certainly did. But Luvo and Sutherlock as well coming in with the right answers there. Pochettino saying the most important thing is the badge. When you play for Tottenham, it is not about the names, it is about the team. Now round number 6. I might come back to this one at the end because I think we're running close to an hour here and this is a very difficult one. I planned on having a picture round for this one, but I wasn't able to get any pictures. I couldn't get the software working properly. So we move on to round number 7. We come back to that round number 6 at the end if we have time. Charlie and Silver Surfer there as well coming in with Pochettino. Now this one is going to be who was the manager of Tottenham when these very famous moments happened, some iconic moments in Tottenham history. So I'll just kind of call out a quick headline about the moment and you just have to tell me who the manager was at Tottenham at the time. So the first one is Gareth Bale burst onto the European scene with incredible late hat-trick in 4-3 defeat to Inter Milan at the San Siro. So can you tell me who was Tottenham manager when Gareth Bale scored that incredible hat-trick at the San Siro? Made an absolute fool of Maicon, one of the best ever fullbacks in the game. Cheers, Peter, see you. But can you tell me who was the manager of Tottenham when Gareth Bale burst onto the scene with incredible late hat-trick and 4-3 defeat to Inter Milan at San Siro? Of course, when we got back to White Hart Lane for that one, we did beat them. I think it was 3-1, 2-1 or 3-1 back at White Hart Lane. Such a great team we had back then. But who was the manager for that campaign? There is Charlie coming in with the answer first. Or Sutherlock, sorry, got in there just before him with Redknapp. So Sutherlock, Charlie, Christopher and Ryan all saying Harry Redknapp. Of course, the manager there for that, our first Champions League campaign. We are Tottenham TV there as well, Harry. Question number 2. Tottenham become first British team to win league and cup doubles. This back in 1961. Who was the Tottenham manager in 1961 when Tottenham became the first British team to win the league and cup double? Yeah, we were Tottenham too, so 3-1 for that one when we beat Inter Milan back at White Hart Lane. I think Peter Crouch got on the score sheet in that one. It's kind of a strange thing when you think of a player like Peter Crouch being so prolific and scoring against a team like Inter Milan in the Champions League. And of course, we went back to San Siro in the round of 16 in that one against AC Milan. Beat them 1-0 there. Before drawing 0-0 at White Hart Lane and got through to the quarter-final. And here we have the first right answer from Christopher Wincott, so Bill Nicholson again. I think he's someone who pops up quite a bit in every Tottenham quiz, for everything he did for the club, everything he achieved. Ryan Scott, we are Tottenham TV, Charlie THFC as well coming in with that one, Bill Nicholson. Now going on to question number 3. Jonathan Woodgate scores dramatic extra time winner to win Carling Cup for Spurs. So who was Tottenham manager when we won the Carling Cup back in 2018 or 2008? We beat Chelsea 2-1 in the Carling Cup final. Jonathan Woodgate scoring a header late on in that one. And I'm just double checking my answer for this one. I'm pretty sure I have it right, but just in case. So who was Tottenham manager? Who was Tottenham manager when we won the Carling Cup in 2008? Of course, the last trophy that we won in there. There's Sutherlock. Juan de Ramos was the man in charge when we beat Chelsea back in 2008 to lift the Carling Cup. Question number 4. Tottenham signed Argentinian duo Ricky Villa and Ozzy Ardiles. So who was the manager back in 1978 who made those very, very famous signings of the Argentinian duo Ricky Villa and Ozzy Ardiles? A massive moment in Tottenham history, it has to be said. Kind of changed the face of the club when we signed those two back then, and kind of ever since then there has been a certain element of Argentinian players and managers in and around the club. I suppose you can identify as the start of that. But who was manager when Tottenham signed Ricky Villa and Ozzy Ardiles back in 1978? Another one of the best managers that the club has ever had as well. There it is. We are Tottenham TV. Keith Birkinshaw. He was in charge. He made the incredible double signing back then of Villa and Ardiles. So we are Tottenham TV coming in with that one. Now question number 5, a bit more recent in this one. Tottenham signed Magnificent 7 with Bale money. So of course we got that at the time world record fee for Gareth Bale. Who was the man in charge that reinvested it on those 7 players who, only one remains at the moment. Turned out to be a massive flop, the majority of them. The one that's left there is, of course, Eric Lamela. Most recently, Christian Eriksen left the club. Players like Etienne Capoue, Vlad Kirikej, Nasser Chadli, I think Roberto Soldado, and there's one more in there somewhere. I can't even remember them. That's how much of a flop they were. But who was manager when we signed that Magnificent 7 with the Gareth Bale money? And Christopher Wincott and Sutherlock both coming in there. I think Christopher just got there first. It was Andre Villas-Boas who brought in those, a manager who just did not do well at Tottenham at all, and ever since then it's kind of gone downhill for him. I think he went into a job in Russia. I think managed then in St. Petersburg after he left Tottenham. In the last couple of years he tried to go into a career as a rally driver, and he spent a few years training for that, and in his first race he crashed and immediately retired. And he's back managing Marseille in France now. But yeah, it was Andre Villas-Boas who signed them. A really poor investment, and you may identify it as something that kind of made Daniel Levy decide permanently he wouldn't put too much money into transfers. But about £100 million spent there on 7 players, as they say, Lamela, one of them. But it was Villas-Boas who brought those in. And the final question of this round, I don't think anyone will get this without looking it up. Tottenham win FA Cup for the first time. So who was the manager of Tottenham when we won the FA Cup for the first time back in 1901? As I mentioned, the first and only non-league team to win the FA Cup. We did it back then, over 100 years ago now. But who was Tottenham manager when we did that? And we were Tottenham TV saying Villas-Boas managing Marseille now, doing pretty well. I don't watch too much French football. When I do, Marseille, they actually do play decent football. They have some good players in there. Have a quick look at the table there and see how they're doing. Always nice to check in on the former managers. Marseille sitting second actually in that table. 12 points behind PSG. I don't think there's much chance of them catching them up for that league title, but doing very well sitting second in that league. Funny he could have done that with us. Unfortunately, he didn't. Gareth Bryan, William Shakespeare is not the answer. Frankie Brettel, not correct either. Sandy Brown, not right. This one, it took me actually a bit to look this up. It was kind of hard to find a definitive answer in this one. But who was Tottenham manager when we won the FA Cup for the first time in 1901? Alf Ramsey, John Brown, not correct either. John, I'll give it to you as the first name. But it's not John Brown. There's Sutherland coming through with John Cameron. One that I, again, definitely would not have known myself, but John Cameron was in charge when Tottenham won that FA Cup in 1901. The first of 8, of course, as I mentioned. Now, so for the last round, round number 8, we're not going to come back to round number 6 because it's an incredibly difficult one. I planned on having photos for it, but without photos, it's almost impossible to do it, really. This is going to be the last round, all-time Tottenham top goal scorers. So just can you name the 6 top Tottenham goal scorers, of course, as of now. The first person to get them in order will get all 6 points for that round. So can you name the top 6 all-time top goal scorers for Tottenham in order? Of course, we all know the first one. Come up in this quiz quite a few times with 266 goals for the club. But the first person to get all of these in order will get 6 points for this round. Look, while doing this, if you have enjoyed this stream, if you have enjoyed the quiz, if you want me to do some more of these over the next weeks or the next months, however long we have to wait for the football to come back, please don't forget to drop a like in the stream and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'll be trying to do these a bit more when the season does restart, to do match reviews, match previews, team news, and these interactive live streams are a big feature of my channel. I love doing them. So if you are new, again, please drop a like and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Charlie there with the first one is, of course, Jimmy Greaves, 266 goals for the club. Had a great documentary actually out with BT Sport lately. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I do have it recorded, but Jimmy Greaves, an iconic footballer, one who I think is really, really underappreciated for what he did, not only for Tottenham but for English football as well. So we are Tottenham TV coming in with Greaves, Smith, Gilzean, Jones, Kane and Defoe. So you have 5 of the 6 right, I think. Greaves, Smith, Jones and Defoe and Kane. I'm after messing that up. Jimmy Greaves is right, Bobby Smith is right, 3, 4, 5 are wrong and 6 is right. So it is Jimmy Greaves, Bobby Smith, a little bit of a mix up there. Gilzean is not one of them. We have Sutherland coming in with Jimmy Greaves, Bobby Smith, Kane, Chivers, Jones. So that is the correct top 5. We're looking for the top 6. Greaves, Smith, Kane, Chivers, Jones and Defoe. So that's it. That's right there from Christopher Wincott. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Christopher the 6 points for that one. Give Sutherland, he got the top 5, so we'll give you 5 points for that. And we are Tottenham TV got, I think, 3 of those correct. So we'll take that as well. So the top, to recap, the top 6 goal scorers for Tottenham. Jimmy Greaves, Bobby Smith, Harry Kane, Martin Chivers, Cliff Jones and Jermaine Defoe. A list of incredible footballers there, it has to be said. But look, that is the end of that. As I said, not coming back to round 6. It was a what year with jerseys and stuff, but without the picture of the jersey, it does become close to impossible to actually to get that one done. Look, thank you to everyone who has joined along for this stream. I appreciate everyone who does come here as always. Look, again, I said, if you are new, please don't forget to subscribe for interactive live streams, match previews, reviews. One of the big features on my channel is interactive live streams, but the transfer window also do daily transfer videos, which people seem to love. So I'm certain I'll never stop doing those. So again, drop a like and subscribe. And to everyone who has watched, as always, I do appreciate it. I hope everyone is staying well and staying safe, and most importantly, staying at home during this really, really tough time. But look, we all need to do our bit. We need to just stay at home, and just hope everyone does stay safe and stay healthy. So to everyone, thank you for watching, and I hope we'll be back with another one of these pretty soon. Come on, you Spurs.